Hello, and welcome to another nerdy news updates. Today, I come to you with two stories. Both are big stories. First is Ukraine has launched a massive attack against Russia, and the way they did it is kind of genius. They are calling it the Trojan drone attack. I saw the details and it's fascinating, so I thought you should know about it. But it doesn't seem like we are going in a good place as a world because Ukraine has gone super aggressive against Russia and sort of exposed some of their weaknesses. We are going to talk about that. And the second story is our Chief of Defense Services, General Chauhan, has essentially admitted that some planes were downed from the Indian side during the India-Pakistan conflict. Again, this is not the first time this admission has come in. This is the second time that from the armed forces, there's like a tacit admission that we have lost planes. There are some reactions to it. There are some things we'll talk about there as well. And we are going to watch a clip of Rahul Gandhi as a bonus, which are connected to both things, by the way, which is very fun. I was like, Rahul Gandhi, man, what a visionary. You'll see. Okay, without further ado, let's get to the video. Update number 1. Ukraine has launched an attack on Russia and it was insane. Mota, what has happened is that Ukraine put in around 100 plus drones, tiny ass drones which cost about $500 to make, into trucks, like cargo trucks, and sent them all across Russia, and they were parked there for a few weeks, and then remotely the top of the trucks opened like this, drones flew out of it and then attacked like massive air bases, 5 major air bases of Russia, and destroyed 41 planes. These are nuclear capable planes that Russia has, which they have been using to bomb Ukraine. And again, you have to understand that when Russia bombs Ukraine, they target civilians. From the Ukrainian side, they have done a surgical strike. They have attacked military installations. Sounds familiar because it is. But look at this. It is kind of insane how they did this.
Ukrainian engineers designed a clever drone launching system disguised as ordinary wooden cabins mounted on the backs of cargo trucks. These mobile containers looked like simple rural sheds, but inside they held reinforced structures, hidden launch platforms, battery charging stations, and remote-controlled roof mechanisms.
Look at that shit. So these are the drones which they have put on the top of the truck. Also, by the way, these trucks that they used, so the people who were driving the trucks apparently didn't know what they were driving because they had employed Russian cargo transport services to take those trucks to places where they wanted it to be taken. They were parked 2 kilometers outside their airfields for a while until a signal was given. The thing opened up, drones flew out like crazy and then just attacked.
The design allowed for drones to be launched either vertically or at an angle.
They came out and attacked,
while built-in signal shielding helped them avoid early detection by Russian surveillance.
But another thing that they did was just look at this. So these are not normal drones.
And translates commands from the remote and efficient.
These are drones which have RPGs attached to them. Okay, so what are these? You must have seen those bazookas which fire like RPGs. Yeah. So they've attached them to drones now, right? And they have batteries, they have a camera on it, they have a signal receiver on it, and there is a booster drone that is also like sort of helping them talk to the people in Ukraine. So essentially what they're doing is these are remote controlled RPGs, which is insane if you think about it. Like, so bazooka, when you fire it, it just like target pe jaake lagta hai. This is like a bazooka that you can fly around and then you can just like zone in on the target and then kamikaze on top of it. There are videos, of course, coming out of how they operate. Again, high definition videos are available in warfare nowadays. Look at this. This is the drone which is targeting a Russian plane. Again, Ukraine has released this publicly. They're bragging about it literally. Look at this. It's targeting, and it is targeting the fuel tank there. So I saw a few analysis videos. So right now it's targeting the fuel tank of that plane, which is like a giant bomber plane. And then it will just like boom. Yep. It's just going in. Look at this. These are the drones which were on top of the truck. These are the cargo containers. See, this one just opened up and then the drones just flew out. These are the drones. Look at how tiny they are. Again, they say that this is like a $500 drone, which was used by Russia to attack like billions of dollars worth of Air Force equipment, or platforms as they call it, planes of Russia. So reports have two things which they say. One is that about 31% of their entire bomber fleet has been wiped out. I don't know if it's true, because there is conflicting report which says that 31% of the bomber fleet which was on those 5 airfields have been wiped out. But again, Russia has, according to sources, 100 odd bomber planes. And now there are 3 kinds of bomber planes that they have. There is the giant one which flies upper and it drops like nuclear warheads essentially on things. There is a faster one which drops like smaller nuclear warheads, but they are the ones which launch like surface missiles and all these scalpel type weapons. And then there is a third one which coordinates these attacks. So it's like a sort of a radar communication plane which sort of helps them attach to a network, and then they use those to identify the targets and sort of attack them. So they have targeted all 3, Ukraine. They had 100 of those planes, a mix and match of those, and 41 have been destroyed, according to sources. Like, Russians are saying about 12 have been destroyed. Ukraine is claiming 41 have been destroyed. But if it's 41, that's an insane number of planes they have destroyed. Another thing I must point out, that this has happened when Russia and Ukraine are in peace talks. They're meeting in a neutral location, which is Turkey, our sworn enemy at this point. In Turkey, they are meeting, and there are no details about what is happening in those meetings yet. The Russian and Ukrainian officials have met for 2 hours, but there is no word about what has happened yet. But I will keep you posted on that when I find out. So this is the map of where all the attacks have happened. Again, they said 5 bases, but 4 are confirmed right now. This is the Olenya Air Base, Ivanovo Air Base. This is Moscow. There is the Dyagilevo Air Base and Belaya Air Base. Notice, this is Ukraine. This is an air base in Serbia. That's 4,000 kilometers away from Ukraine, and this is where they remotely attacked as well. So it's actually, that's why it is kind of insane how they did this, because they have managed to go deep inside Russia and do their operation. It's scary. It's scary, the capabilities that countries have. It makes me scary for India also. Okay, this is one of the videos of a drone coming out. Look at that. These are the drones coming out and going to attack. Russians were stunned because they saw like tops of trucks opening up and drones flying out of it, and they were like, what is going on?
О дела, блядь, ёб твою мать, до чего техника дошла? А нахуя мы работаем за рулем-то, блядь?
Here is another one, I think.
О, блядь. Менты промазали, нахуй. Ёбаный, он опять туда полетел, сука, в эту гущу.
Another one coming out.
Пидорас. Вот он, еще один пидорас.
This is nuts. This is nuts. Why is this important? First thing, do you remember when Zelensky went to USA and Trump was like, oh, you have no cards to play anymore. Russia is much more powerful than you are. Why are you escalating this conflict? And they talked down to Zelensky. Now, Zelensky says that they have been planning this operation for 18 months. 18 months! They took 18 months to plan this operation. So when Zelensky had gone to Trump and he was listening to him, berating him essentially, in his mind, he must be laughing at this point of time. Now I think he must be laughing. He's like, really, Trump? Really? Do you think we have nothing? You just watch. Turuk Trump. Dekhta main tere ko. And it's kind of insane what they did, because they're calling this one of the most successful military operations in recent history, for obvious reasons, because it has a few different things happening. One is, they're calling this the Trojan horse because they were normal trucks. There were normal cargo trucks which were just sent all across Russia to attack these bases. Now Russians are freaking out because there are trucks everywhere like this. They don't know which ones have drones. So they have sent out people to check trucks because there are traffic jams happening there. This was like a giant psychological attack on Russia as well. The second thing is drones. So these planes are expensive. Some estimates say that planes worth $7 billion have been destroyed. Again, estimates. And these drones which were used, about 100 115 of them, which have actually reached the targets. Each of them cost $500 with an RPG attached to it, but to make it, it's $500. So you can destroy billions of dollars worth of epic Air Force equipment by drones now. And that is what is so scary also, if you think about it, because we saw in the India-Pakistan conflict also how Pakistan was sending swarms of drones into India, right? These were Turkish drones. I'm wondering, why don't we have like a swarm of drones? We also use drones, by the way. We use loitering munitions, as they call it, to target those air bases. Our munitions were loitering, and then they basically were identifying the target, and there were some kamikaze drones also that we use. So it's not like we don't have our own drones, but clearly the other side has a lot more drones to just throw and waste on us. If this is any indication, the last two conflicts, chat, I must say, I'm learning so much about warfare and conflict because of these two things that have happened. So all the things I'm telling you are based on things I'm reading, information I'm absorbing, and I'm trying to share it with you. So if you think that I have said something wrong, please feel free to correct me also in the comments or right now in chat live, right? But what I wanted to say was that warfare is changing. It's changing massively. So planes are what? Obsolete now? Because if something like a Ukraine attack is an indicator of how warfare is going to be done in the future, these are Russian Air Force bases which might have like complete defensive capabilities. They used tiny ass drones to destroy their most significant assets. It's scary to think an enemy with power like this. And now I'm wondering if Pakistan also has power like this. Do we have power like this? Do we have capabilities of this, of doing something like this? Or are we still going to use our planes to drop bombs? Because it just seems so obsolete now. In like a month, it seems obsolete. Right? Yeah, that's my limited opinion on this. I'm going to go deeper into this later. I'm going to read up more on this, especially the Ukraine-Russia talks. I need to read up more on it. So I will give you another update soon in the subsequent videos. But now, on to update number 2. Alright, on to update number 2. Before I go there, please do like, share, subscribe this channel if you want non-stressful news where I'm giving you some information on what is going on and the stories you should care about. If you're liking these videos, please do consider subscribing. Also, I have released a video yesterday on Monday which is about the ANI versus YouTubers thing which you have been asking for. It is a detailed video which explains what is ANI, what is copyright strikes, what are they doing to YouTubers, and how all of it is legal but also morally shitty. Right? What is their intention behind it? So please do watch that video, and I hope you have been enjoying watching the content on this channel. Please do consider subscribing. Right now, 60% of people who are watching this are subscribers, but 40% aren't. So if you're one of those 40%, would really appreciate if you subscribe, because I'm trying to reach 100k. I have to reach 100k. That is my sole motivation in life right now. So thank you. Now on to update number 2. Our Chief of Defense Staff, Anil Chauhan, has gone to Bloomberg and said things.
General, there's still one unanswered question since the incident between Pakistan and India, and that is whether or not Pakistan downed an Indian jet, or in fact more than that. Can you confirm?
I think what is important is that not the jet being down, but why they were being down.
But a jet, at least one jet was downed?
Why they were. So, good part.
So, just clarifying here, this is not the first admission. A lot of people are claiming this is the first admission that we have lost planes. Our CDS, sorry, this is the CDS. When the press briefings were happening during the India-Pakistan conflict, our air marshals and people from the Air Force have also said that our pilots have come home. They didn't confirm or deny whether the planes have been lost, but essentially they were admitting that we had losses. So CDS is sort of reiterating that in a different way.
That we are able to understand the tactical mistake which we made, remedy it, rectify it, and then implement it again after 2 days, and flew all our jets, again targeting at long range, which I said.
I can see this again.
I think what is important is that not the jet being down, but why they were being down.
But a jet, at least one jet was downed?
Why they were. So the good part is that we are able to understand the tactical mistake which we made, remedy it, rectify it, and then implement it again after 2 days, and flew all our jets, again targeting at long range, which I said.
So, there is some detail that he has given right now. Essentially, what he's saying is that jets were down, but it's important for us to understand why the jets were down. So, there were some strategic, probably mistakes made, or the strategic errors, or whatever it is, right? It's clear now that on the first day when we did Operation Sindoor is when Pakistan must have retaliated and we might have had some losses. So, 2 days they were just trying to figure out why those losses happened, and I'll tell you why this is important as well. But what he's essentially saying is that on the first day there were losses, then 2 days later they did a massive attack, which we saw the air force bases, etc., which we attacked, which happened 2 days later, using again the planes and firing from our international border into theirs. It is a little bit of detail that he has added there.
Pakistan claims 6 Indian jets were downed. Is it correct in that estimate?
Absolutely incorrect, and that is not information which I said is important. What is important is why they were down. That is more important for us. And what did we do after that?
So why they were down? He keeps repeating that why they were down. That's important because he says 6 planes were not down, but clearly some planes were down, right? I'm not going to put a number to it, but what is worrying is if Rafales were down. Rafales, if you know, are these planes that we have acquired recently. There was a whole controversy about it, which is we have spent a lot of extra money, given it to France, and then we have bought like old generation planes, which are not even that latest, for our fleet, and then we have used them in this India-Pakistan conflict. If Rafales are down, it is worrying because based on my reading so far, French officials are also trying to find out if Rafales are down, why they were downed and how they were downed. Because you have to understand that if they were downed by Chinese airplanes, which Pakistan has, or Chinese defense systems, which Pakistan has, which exposes a vulnerability in Rafale jets, not only for us, but even for France. So this is like right now it is like cutting edge for us because we managed to buy it. So for our Air Force, that is like cutting edge planes that we have. Honestly, they are still like old generation. France has said that in 20 years, a Rafale hasn't been downed. So if it has now been downed, why did it happen? And CDS is saying that constantly. Why were they downed, right? There are a few things you can read between the lines, which means that Rafales are maybe not cutting it anymore. Or if there is a conflict-like situation again, probably Chinese planes or defense systems can be used to take them down. Or they have figured out how to do it, which is a scary situation for us. Now, CDS says that after they found out why they were down, they again attacked after 2 days, then we caused a massive amount of destruction, yada yada. That is fair, but it is fairly important to find out how they were downed, right? Have to say, Rahul Gandhi has asked this question on the 17th of May, asking how many planes have we lost. Now, I don't think the number is that important, but it is kind of important. Subramaniam Swamy went on a news channel or a podcast, and he said that we have lost 5 planes. Now, do you want to trust Subramaniam Swamy or not? Depends on you. Let's assume we have lost 3, right? What if all 3 were Rafale? Then it matters. What if it was 5? 2 were Rafales and 3 other Sukhoi and MiG planes. It still matters, but how many Rafales were downed? That is very important, right? Because those are like the best weapons we have right now in the air. And if they have found a counter for it, it is scary for us. That is why it matters. I feel like right now the conflict has sort of more or less put in abeyance, as they said. Our Prime Minister is going around taking credit for it and going on a multi-state tour to do speeches about how amazing Operation Sindoor was. So I think it should be okay for me to sort of go a little deeper into it. It is important, I feel like. We need to find out how many planes are downed. We just need to now. Because I can just see embarrassment right now from both the political and the army side. Our army did an efficient strike, sure, but it is also important to find out what our failings were during this time. It is also important for us to find out why the ceasefire happened. Because if you think about it, if they found a counter to our most powerful weapon using Chinese equipment, it's kind of understandable why we didn't want this war to go on further. What if we lost more planes after that? What if there was a ground attack and they used drones? I feel like tactically, ceasefire was a good idea for both countries. at this point of time. It's just, I think it's worthwhile for the government to come out and clarify what sort of losses we had, because it will give us a realistic picture of how scared we should be. Because I'm scared right now. I mean, sure, I trust our armed forces and everything, but looking at what happened in Ukraine, looking at what happened here, I'm scared. Trishi is saying parliament session now. Absolutely, I agree. Another thing, we have sent a diplomatic mission of all these MPs outside to talk big, which is basically say that Operation Sindoor was amazing and we attacked their terror bases and India is the victim here because of the Pahalgam attack and how Pakistan has been attacking us for a while. Those are the talking points that people outside delegations are saying. I have said this, I'll repeat this again. I feel like the whole and sole reason why they have been sent out is because they didn't want a parliament session to happen, a special session to discuss the conflict. Because in the parliament, they will have to answer what are the sort of losses we faced. They can do nationalistic chest beating all they want, but given Rahul Gandhi and all the opposition and the questions they are asking, they would ask them how many planes were lost, what are the kind of losses we suffered, are we prepared for another conflict like this, what will happen if we have like a two-front conflict, one with Pakistan and one with China. All of these are questions which we need answers for. Even if nothing, thoda reassurance mil jayega, I feel like. So yeah, special parliament session should happen. Lakshmi is saying armed forces train in warfare, military conflict, containment, etc., not in politics. It's just not fair that the CDS is being trolled for this Bloomberg interview. Again, I don't agree with the trolling either. It is worth asking why he gave an interview to Bloomberg, but again, हमारे यहाँ पे I think nobody is willing to ask questions to the army anyway. हमारे मीडिया में गोदा नहीं है. They don't have the balls to do it. Our media doesn't have the balls to ask any questions to any government also. Armed forces तो छोड़ ही दो. Like instant declaration of anti-nationality even if you ask questions. You saw what happened during the press conference when a Hindu reporter asked the army folks or the armed forces folks how many planes were down. You saw the kind of trolling that Hindu reporter had to face. Just asking a simple question is considered anti-national. So I'm not surprised that the CDS decided to go to Bloomberg because at least वो सवाल तो पूछ रहे. And it was a sit-down interview. It was not like they caught them off guard. So I don't understand the strategic communication importance of this. But my guess is that at this point of time, India might have been realizing that being so opaque is not a great idea for us diplomatically. We should admit certain things. We should be a little bit more honest than we were. Chest beating domestically चल जाएगा. मोदी जी बकवास करते रहेंगे, which is basically सिंदूर है मेरे रग में or whatever. That works on our emotional population. But for the rest of the world, which is looking at this, they want answers. And they decided to give it to Bloomberg. I don't agree with the trolling. I feel like I wouldn't comment on his communication skills or whatever. I would like to believe that this was thought out. But again, I don't know. That's all I have to say on this. Meanwhile, our Rahul Shiv Shankar, or as I call him, Rahul Shit Shankar, he has some interesting choice words for our CDS. 90 hours to win war. 90 seconds to squander gains on ground by losing narrative war. Send as many delegations as you deem fit, but India just handed Pakistan a PR win. Bloomberg has strong ties with Hong Kong. Wasn't this known? Who took the decision to let CDS face Bloomberg interviewer? Again, Rahul Shiv Shankar basically blaming Bloomberg immediately for asking this question. I would think that if you have the CDS giving an interview, this is the most natural question to ask at this point of time, whether it's Bloomberg or anybody else. The only people who are not asking this question is people like Rahul Shit Shankar and his channel. Abhi kaun se channel mein wo? CNN News 18 or NDTV? I don't know. NDTV has been acquiring people left, right, center, so he must have moved there. I don't care. But anyway, he doesn't have the courage to ask this question. So when Bloomberg is asking this, which is a very natural question, I don't think it's like a problem to ask this question to the CDS. A, the CDS has agreed to do this interview. B, it was a sit-down interview. 3, the woman is an actual journalist. She's asking this question in Singapore. Because हमारी मीडिया नहीं पूछती है सब. हमको answers, whenever we get answers, it seems like it's from the international media now. That's what we should look out for. All right, last thing, it's bonus clip time. I'm going to play this clip by Rahul Gandhi. He had put up this video a few weeks ago, I think after the conflict only, of him talking about drones.
Is innovative technology of the motor, high quality optics, telecommunication equipment, and essentially a bunch of cell phone batteries set together are allowing this thing to transform the battlefield. Earlier, the Air Force used to operate, let's say, for the most part, above 10,000 feet. And if a local unit, fighting unit wanted air support, they had to call the Air Force and then the Air Force had to send the plane. And the plane was big, very expensive, etc. So now what has happened is the Air Force has merged with the platoon, right? So now the platoon itself has its own Air Force, can use that Air Force to strike opponents and can observe the battlefield. So what has happened is the Air Force has suddenly come all the way to the ground level, and it's built a completely different reconnaissance concept at a much lower level, which means that the battlefield has become much more transparent. You just put a drone up there and then you can see everything that's going on, and then individual units can send their drones to attack. So it's almost
See, this is the kind of communication I honestly expect from our government also. I'm actually really glad that Rahul Gandhi is doing this. He's actually explaining it to people what is happening and how warfare is changing, which is very, very useful right now at this point of time.
illuminated the battlefield in a way that has never been done before. And it's also allowed kinetic energy to be moved around very effectively and targeted very accurately. And the reason it's happened is because of the electric motor in the battery and optics combination. The optics and communication system are allowing you to see the battlefield, see the sea in a completely different way. And then the electric motor is allowing you to target very, very accurately, put explosive power very accurately where you want. And this has revolutionized how accurately you can target kinetic energy. We have to build such a...
Truth Seeker here is saying this video was uploaded months ago. So it was before the conflict, I think. I'm not sure when it was uploaded. Truth Seeker, please do tell me. But insane, like if he's been talking about this, because this is not the first time he's talking about drones, by the way. He has spoken in parliament also. I'll come to that, but watch this.
system. And we have to have competence in electric motors. We have to develop competence in optics. We have to develop competence in batteries.
So, okay, so this is important. This part is very important to highlight. He has spoken about this in parliament as well. He has given a speech which went largely ignored, which I thought was one of his most important speeches in parliament as LOP. He said that one of the things that India needs to focus on are these three things, these three components, which is electric motors, optics, and batteries. And this is what is used in drones also. This is used in cars. This is used in a bunch of things right now. So what China has managed to do is they have managed to innovate in all these areas. We haven't. We are lacking behind. The whole reason why we are not probably able to make drones at scale is because we are not able to do this. Like our technology is far behind compared to other countries, more developed countries, countries who have thought about this much, much long ago, right? I mean, I'm not saying that we aren't moving towards it. We have essentially allowed 100% FDI in defense services. A bunch of investment has been put into manufacturing drones. A bunch of companies have come up which are doing that, along with planes. So I'm not saying we haven't taken steps to do that. I think there needs to be more clarity on how far we are or how we are compared to other countries. Can we do like a Ukraine style attack on like Pakistan? Can we send like drone swarms on Pakistan? Are we capable of doing that? These are all questions that are worth asking. And my guess is, if a special session would have happened, I think Rahul Gandhi would have asked these questions. I think a lot of MPs would have asked these questions and the government would have been expected to respond, right? Unfortunately, we are not talking about this because every time you mention anything about warfare or military, you are called anti-national, right? So then there is no conversation happening at all about this. So it's interesting that Rahul Gandhi has been putting out these videos on his YouTube channel, which are kind of forward thinking, if you think about it.
Develop competence in batteries. This is what is going to be at the heart of the electric vehicle. This is what's going to be at the heart of all robotics. This is what's going to be at the heart of drones. This is what's going to be at the heart of submarines. This is going to be at the heart of toys, warfare, everything. And the sad fact is that we're nowhere here. We don't make any of the components inside this. We don't understand how it's made. We certainly don't make any of the optics. We don't understand how it's made. And that's what my speech was getting at, that this is actually where we should be playing.
Oh,
and the network
I think he must have made this video. See, Truth Seeker is saying 3 months ago. So I think he made this video after he gave that speech. Interesting. So 3 months ago. Right. Thank you, Truth Seeker.
This is where the real value is. And all AI is actually going to be operating on this network. So for example, when this thing is built, AI is going to be used to order how it's built. When this thing is used, AI will determine how it's used. The last generation industrial system was about mastering the internal combustion engine. And the tragedy right now is that we're talking about all sorts of stuff, but we're not talking about this. And this is, I want Indian imagination to fly like this thing does.
AI, yes. So on top of all of this, the network that runs these drone swarms will have AI in it. AI to chhod do, hamare pata nahi hum kahan pe hai on the AI front. All of our engineers who know anything about AI will go outside because they'll get paid more there. They will have more freedom there to do their experiments, to work on AI, etc. All the AI engineers I know personally or who have skilled themselves to become AI engineers did it so that they can move outside. They can go out of India. So our high value AI talent is already escaping the country because why not? They pay better. They have better environments to actually experiment and develop and research. They have a better rational sort of approach to it. हमारे यहाँ पे हम स्टूडियो जिबली से कॉलीफ्लावर मीम्स बना रहे हैं. That is our level of AI usage right now. So, yeah, batteries, optics, electric motors, and AI, the deadly combination, which other countries seem to be doing better at, and that is what is scary. Ukraine is clearly doing better at it. Look at what they did, and it makes you wonder where we are. It makes you wonder where we are as a country militarily, technologically, diplomatically, socially. What are our priorities, man? What are we doing? Scary as hell. I don't know about you. I'm scared. We are in a very dangerous position because everything needed to create these drones, China has complete monopoly over it. Yeah, very worrying. Absolutely. Okay, those are the updates for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, like, share, subscribe, do the things. The schedule as far as these videos go, right now we are doing a members only live stream where I'm recording this. These are all members. I interact with them. I do analysis with them. So if you want to attend these live streams and watch me record these videos live, you can attend them, become a member of this channel and come. I do these on Tuesday mornings and on Thursday nights. So you get 2 live streams if you're a member. And I do live streams on Friday nights, which are general. And one bunch of thoughts constructed video is what I'm planning. So you will get lots of content from this channel. So please do consider subscribing. I'm working very hard, guys, to get to 100K. So please help. Help. Okay, thank you. Bye. See you in the next video.